Thousands of people are returning to Queensland this morning after the border reopened at 1 a.m. local time. Georgia Simpson joins us live from Coolangatta, Georgia. This day has been a long time coming.
Pete, some people have been waiting 141 days to cross the border back into Queensland to see their loved ones. The new border passes went live at midnight, and from 1 a.m. people began driving across the border into Queensland. The New England Highway was quite busy earlier this morning. Here where I am in Coolangatta is relatively quiet, which locals will be very pleased about. And the M1 was busy at 1 a.m. when traffic first started to cross over the border, but that has eased now to about 20-minute delays. A few people who were caught in traffic earlier were very keen to chat and tell everyone just how excited they are to be coming home and seeing their loved ones once again.
We're going back to Queensland after I don't know how many months.
Been months. Been good. No, feels good to get in here. We're stoked, 100%. Yeah.
It's unreal. Just can't wait to see our daughter and son-in-law and grandkids.
Currently on the M1, for instance, we've actually seen a reduction down to a 20-minute delay on the M1 itself, and all the other checkpoints here on the Gold Coast are pretty much like what you're seeing behind me now. So it's a fantastic outcome for us this morning.
So great to hear, Pete, that it's smooth sailing traffic-wise at the moment. Queensland Premier Annastacia Palaszczuk tweeted this morning thanking Queenslanders for all their hard work and saying that it's because of what we've all been doing over these past few months that we've been able to open our borders. I'll just read out part of what this tweet says. If we get up this graphic, you'll be able to see here that it says, "The credit here belongs to every single Queenslander, so thank you very, very much. This is going to be a very special time of year, and as a government we've been very conscious of how important this is to reunite families. There are about 500 police stationed right across the Queensland and New South Wales border. This is the largest police operation in Queensland since the G20 summit and the Commonwealth Games. They're anticipating up to 60,000 vehicles to cross into Queensland every single day, with the bulk of that happening here along the Gold Coast. There are so many people who have been desperately waiting to come home for months, and it will be very exciting for them to be reunited with their family. But of course there are a lot of people, Pete, who will be facing long-lasting impacts after what they've experienced over the past few months. These are the people who have been locked out of the state and become homeless. They've been living in their cars and staying in caravans at caravan parks. Some are facing financial ruin, so it will take a while for these people to get back on their feet, but no doubt they are just so excited to finally be able to come home.
Yeah, and as police told us in that interview, 10 people turned around for not being double vaccinated so far. Not too bad considering the amount of people who've come in so far. George, appreciate that. Thank you. And thousands of fully vaccinated people will be flying into Queensland today without having to quarantine. Adam Walters joins us live from Brisbane Airport this morning. Adam, today marks day one of the recovery for Queensland's battered tourism sector.
Good morning, Pete. It sure does, and the excitement here is building within the domestic terminal of Brisbane Airport. It's going to be the busiest day here since the 22nd of July. That's when Queensland slammed its borders shut to the southern states after a COVID outbreak in New South Wales. As the death toll there and in Victoria continued to grow, Queensland, because of its strict border policy, managed to restrict the number of deaths to 7. But that has come with quite literally a heavy price, $20 billion damage. It's been estimated to the state's economy, 50,000 job losses. But as Treasurer Josh Frydenberg said this morning, the reopening of the border could not have happened at a better time for the Sunshine State.
And this is great news just in time for Christmas. This is a Christmas present for thousands of tourism operators across Queensland. And if Queensland wants to stay beautiful one day and perfect the next, it needs to keep its borders open.
And the airlines are very excited about the prospect of business increasing intensely over the Christmas New Year period. This is what the CEO of Jetstar had to say.
This is a massive part of our network, and to have it back on again just in time for Christmas is a huge, huge boost. Just in terms of the size, Qantas and Jetstar combined last week flew 100 services into Queensland. This week we will fly 700 services into Queensland, and next week we'll fly 1,200 services into Queensland. So it's that big.
And The rebuilding of the economy started even before today. Within 48 hours of the announcement from Queensland Premier Annastacia Palaszczuk last week that the border would be reopening, there was a spike, according to Flight Centre, in the interest in Queensland as a destination. It went up by 70%. And from those travelling from Sydney to Brisbane, the interest increased by 276%. Wow. And there was a 152% increase in people wanting to travel from Melbourne to Brisbane. Similar levels of interest recorded for those wanting to fly from Sydney and Melbourne to the Gold Coast. But funnily enough, Pete, as recent as late last night, there were still plenty of seats available for flights today on Jetstar, Qantas and Virgin.
OK, Adam Walters bringing us the latest from Brisbane Airport. Appreciate that, Adam. Thank you.